We have gathered here for a guest lecture on exception handling and collections in Java. On behalf of the crowd present here, I would like to welcome our guest resource person, Mr. Damodaran. He has completed his BTech in IT. He is also having more than 5 years of experience in IT field, currently working as a consultant at Polaris Virtua. On this day, he has generously spaced his time to give us more knowledge about one of the famous object-oriented language, Java. He will guide us on exception handling skills and collections. Hope we get the most out of him. Now the crowd is set for you, sir. I hope all my friends present here are eagerly waiting for today's session. Over to you, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Nikita, for your introduction.
Thank you, sir.
Can I directly start the session, or you guys want me to ask any questions?
Okay, Damodar, we can start the session, pa.
Okay.
Later on, if there is any query, students can ask the queries.
Okay. Okay, everybody knows Java here, right?
Partially, sir.
Okay, I will write some program. You guys can tell me the output, okay? One second. My screen is visible for everybody, right?
Yes, yes, pa.
Okay, guys, what will be the output for this program? Yeah, anybody?
So nothing, sir.
Method.
What?
Method called, sir.
It display nothing, sir.
Yeah, it will display nothing because we never call this method in the main method, okay? Actually, this is the basic framework for Java. We should understand this first. Whatever method we are calling here, that method will be executed. Even I can declare 10 methods here. It won't be executed unless I call it in main method, okay? Main method is like a junction for everything. Whatever I call only displayed. Let's say, okay, let we call take it as method called 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 4 methods, but nothing will be executed if I run this program. So you cannot expect anything from console because we never called any method. Okay, now I will change little bit. Okay, what will be the output for this program?
Method called.
Okay, any other answer?
So no, sir, we can't call sir. Static.
No, sir. No, sir. It's not right, sir.
Public static void call.
Okay, I'll run the program. So it won't print anything because to call a method, whether we have to create an object or we should make this method a static, then only we can call a method. Okay. Actually, I have disabled the error identification feature in the Eclipse. That's why we're not able to see any error. Now we can see main method and the method on called. Okay. So like that we can make all the methods static, or what we can do is we can create an object. Everybody knows what is object, right?
Yes.
So what is the use of object?
Reference variable of a class.
Yeah, correct. Okay. So okay, why we need reference variable?
To call a class from.
Yeah, come again.
Call functions out of class.
Okay, yeah, you are correct. But the technical way to say this is to access the resource from other classes. Okay, we are creating an object to access the resource of other class. That's why we are using object. Okay. If I now run the program, everything will be called. Non-static methods. Okay, now we can able to call all the methods. Okay, what we have to understand mainly is this is the main method. Whatever we are calling here, that only will be executed. Other methods will not be executed because we may write 1,000 lines of code in for a banking application, but we won't be using all the lines of code at the same time. So we have to call our methods based upon our need. When we launch application, we are not using all the feature. When we click login button only, we are reviewing the login feature, right? Like that, based on button click, something like that. I will show you some Android examples how things will work in real world. You can understand. Okay. Okay, now I will move to exception handling. Okay, everybody knows the exception handling theory part, right? Okay, what is exception?
See, runtime error.
Okay, runtime error then.
This can be handled using catch.
Yeah, we can handle using catch then. Then even you can give wrong answers, we can correct it. Yeah, that's it.
Skipping the error, sir. Skipping the error and working on the rest of the program.
Okay, everything is right answer only, but I will give you a technical clear explanation. Exception is unexpected event. Unexpected event that terminates our program. Okay. Let's say you are going to a shop to buy a dairy milk. You just took 10 rupees, but the dairy milk rate is 15 rupees. What you will do? You just go home, take another 5 rupees, and you will come and again buy the chocolate. But if something happens to program, the program don't know anything, right? It will simply stuck there. So what we have to do is we have to handle all the exceptional cases. I will show you an example. Let's see this example. In this example, what I'm doing is, okay, I will remove this. In this program, what will be the output for this program?
Stage 1 loaded, stage 2 loaded, up to
Okay,
stage
it's
7
yeah,
loaded.
correct. Okay, so the program flow is working normally. Okay, what if I now introduce an error like that? Everybody knows divide by zero error, right?
Yes, sir. Error.
Yes, sir.
What will be the output for divide by zero error?
Zero division. Yeah.
Divided by zero error.
Error means anything divided by 0 will be infinity or undefined, so computer cannot handle undefined, so it will throw error, right?
Yes.
Okay, now I just introduced an error. Okay, you can see it throwing error. Actually what does it doing is it simply terminates your program. It's not doing anything, right? Okay, what if you feel something you are using WhatsApp application, suddenly you are getting error like this, means what you will do? You will lose the trust on WhatsApp, right? This application keeps on crashing. Why should we use the application? We can just move to other application, like that you guys will feel, right? So that these are called exception. The exception means that will just terminate the program due to some error, a lot of things. It will crash the program, so we have to handle that gracefully. Okay, what if, okay, I will handle this okay, okay, this let's say this is our application. It's keep on crashing for some instance. What we can do is we can just create a try block catch. If some exception happens, I will explain the syntax later, just you can understand the concept. Okay, you can just put here application stopped, please try after sometimes. Okay, you can do like this. If some exception handle means it will handle it gracefully. Okay, once again.
Exception spelling.
Okay, I disabled that feature, right? So it's not showing. Okay, it's showing like application stopped, please try after sometimes. Okay, this is more user friendly, right? Because when user saw this, okay, some error in server. Well, if we keep on getting the stack error, means what user will feel. So like this, we have to handle the exceptions gracefully to make the user more friendly. Okay, is that understandable? Any doubts on this? Why we need to handle exception?
Yes.
Okay, I will show you Android application just using this divide by 0 error. Okay. Okay, my phone is visible, right?
Yes.
Hmm. Okay, let's say I will run the program, you will understand. See, this is our program. Okay, I will change the context to divide by 0.
Damodaran, one suggestion, Damodaran.
Yeah.
Damodaran, at the end, after completing this, please tell the students what are all the IDEs that is available to develop mobile application and Java.
Yeah, I will
Latest
tell you.
application like databases, and then how you can use that to develop in students.
Yes, sir, I will tell.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, this is our application. What our application do is, if I give 12 divided by 2, what is do is simply dividing the number. Okay, if I give, it will give 6. Okay, if I give 100 divided by 0, what it will give?
Error, sir.
See, you can see, right, the application keeps on restarting. Actually the application should crash, but for Java we have a Java Virtual Machine, right? Like that for Android we have Android Virtual Machine. That Android Virtual Machines not letting the application to crash, it's just restarting the application. You can see, right, close the application. So I think you guys could have seen this error right before while using application, some third party application. You can see this. So
Yes, sir.
okay, I will show the code for this application. See, I'm doing nothing, just getting text from to field and just dividing it, just printing it. Okay, what we can do is we can use the same thing here, what we have done there. Okay, try. If anything happens, catch it. we can set the label. Here we are setting the, we are just putting some value, right? 12 divided by 2 equal to 6, like that we are setting, right? Instead of setting that, we can just set as we can set the error itself. Now I will run the application. Now we have handled the exception. Okay. Okay, now I'm giving 100 divided by 0. Now it's showing divided by 0 error. This is much gracefully we are doing, right? Just we are informing user that we have found some error, like that. Is that fine?
Yes.
Yeah, this is the basic concept of expression handling. We don't want our application should crash like that, simply closing the application whenever some error is happening. What we have to do is we have to somewhat we can repair the exception also, or we can simply, if the expression is not recoverable, what we can do is we can simply say some message like this, like this error is happened, please try after sometimes, like that we can say. Okay. Actually, this is the concept specific to all the programming language. Actually, this concept is specific to all the programming language. One second, I will move to board. Okay. What we have seen is common for all programming language. Now we will see particularly for Java. Okay. Okay, in Java, how many type of exception we are having? I add some image, I will show you. Okay, this is what we are doing. We are simply running the program, but it's stuck somewhere, so we are falling. We want to prevent that. Okay, I will show you the exception hierarchy. Okay, everybody knows this, right? Object throwable exception error.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so object is the parent class of all the classes. Under that we have a throwable interface. Throwable interface have two classes. One is exception, one is error. Okay, can anyone tell me what is the difference between exception and error?
Exception cannot be
Occurs-
Yeah.
Exception occurs during runtime and error occurs during compile time.
No, not exactly. Anyone?
exception can be rectified, but error cannot be rectified.
Yeah, that's correct. Other than this,
The compiler doesn't know except only error.
your voice is muffled. Can you come again?
The compiler doesn't know exceptions, only errors can be recognized and
Yeah, okay. Okay, I will tell you the exact thing between both of them. You know, exception can be caused by the program. Whatever mistake we are doing, that is called exception. Error will happen due to lack of resources. Something like a memory outage, stack overflow error, something like that. Error not caused by us. Error is caused by the resources. Okay, exception is what we are doing. The thing you said, right, compiler and those things will come under checked exception and unchecked exception. Checked exceptions are checked by compiler, unchecked exceptions are checked by the JVM. Okay. Also, like someone said, exception can be recovered, errors we cannot recover because that is an something related to the hardware, right? So we cannot do anything about it. What we have to do is we just have to increase the memory, something like that. Okay, I will show you example. Okay, see, this is exception. What I'm doing is I'm simply calling this method. Now our divisor is 0. What it will do is it will give an divide by 0, right? If something happens like that, what I'm doing is instead of 0, I'm just placing here 1. Is the program is understandable or can I make something? Okay, I will make it 0. Okay. Yeah, tell me anything. Okay, whether you understand or not. or I have to change anything?
Yes, understand.
Okay, I'm just hard coded 0, but let's consider this as an user input. Okay, just to consider this as an user input. User giving some value, we should divide that value by 10. So what if user gave 0? If user gives 0 means what we have to do is we simply have to so if user entered means 0 means what we can simply mention user entered 0. Who's that voice is not audible? User entered 0 replaced by 1. We can say it's like that and we can recover the exception. Simply we can put like that user entered 0 replaced by 1. If we let's consider user entered 2 means the catch block won't execute because it didn't threw any error, right? So we will be getting 5. Any doubts on this?
No, sir.
Okay.
No, sir.
Okay. Okay, what we have is we have two kind of unexpected event. Two types of unexpected events. One is error, second one is exception. Okay, error not caused by program. It is due to lack of resources. And cannot be handled by exception only. Okay, I will show you an example for error also. See, this is one kind of error. What it will do is for every, okay, I will show you another image. Application. Okay, for every program, operating system will allocate some memory called stack memory and heap memory. Okay, so for every program, some particular amount of memory will be allocated. Let's say 10 MB allocated for this program, 20 MB allocated for this program, like that. If the program crosses that limit, compiler will throw error like we don't have any resource. This program, what it do is it's keep on allocating the memory. Okay, I will run this program. You can see the error. We cannot handle this error. You can see iteration one memory, it will stop somewhere. Okay, so this is error is due to lack of resources. We cannot handle that too. You can see Java heap space out of memory. Okay, if something like this happened, what we have to do is we have to just increase the memory size, or what you can do is you can just understand this well by using C program, where we use malloc, calloc, memory allocation, like that, where you can understand this concept very well. Since we have JVM here, JVM handles everything well, so we have to write this kind of complex program to understand memory. Okay, anyone having doubt on this error or any doubt? Usually we don't see errors in real world because we have a separate server team. They handle those kind of things. Any doubt on this? Okay, I will take silence as no. Then we have exception. The exception we have two types. One is checked exception and another one is unchecked exception. Actually, anybody knows how Java program will be compiled? what are the process involved in compiling our Java file? We are writing in human language, right? We are writing in human understandable language called English. How does machine understand this language?
First of all, it will convert into binary codes.
Binary, sir.
Computer understand.
Yeah, every code will be converted to binary code so that computer can understand, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Uh,
But in Java, we have a separate machine. Okay, I will show the image. So this is what happens in Java. We are having our Java file, right? The Java file is compiled by a compiler and it will produce a class file. And the class file is put it onto JVM, and JVM will run the application on operating system. Okay, I will show you an example on terminal. Okay, second. I'm creating a Java file. This is how we have to run our Java file. We should not use IDE while learning the programming language because it will show you all the errors what you are doing and you cannot understand the syntax very well. So if you are learning Java from starting, you have to use this notepad, because notepad we cannot see anything. So to understand checked exception and unchecked exception, we have to understand this compilation process and we have to understand the JVM. Then only we can understand the checked exception and unchecked exception. Okay. Okay, I'm opening terminal. Have you guys completed the computer architecture paper, or you will be having it next semester? You're having, right? Okay. So this is how we have to compile our Java program. Inside that we have a main.java, right? First we have to compile our Java file. Java C, what is main.java? Okay. Now what we are doing is we are compiling our Java file. Our first process, we have the Java file and we have to send it that to compiler. That will be converted to a class file. Okay, I'm doing the first step, just compiling. See, now you can see a file, right? We not even get the output yet. Okay, we are just seeing the class file. This is the first process happening here. This process Java compiler, we are getting a class file. Now we have to run our application, just Java main. It will show all the things that we have done. Okay, this is the second step. After compilation, it just to put everything in the JVM, and JVM showing on operating system. Okay, any doubt? We can see the machine code also. We can just say Java PC main. See, you guys know, right? This code's IDC, invoke, load, compiler, load register. So this is the machine code we have. This machine code is after converted into binary code. I will clear that. Okay.
Is this tracing?
Sorry. Your voice is not audible.
Is it tracing?
No, your voice is not yet clear. Okay, I will take you the question later. Okay. Okay, first checked exception are checked by the compiler. Checked exception are checked by compiler. Checked by compiler means this will not allow us to create even the class file. Unchecked exceptions are my voice is audible to everybody, right? I'm feeling no noise from outside. Hello?
Yes, sir.
Checked exceptions are checked by compiler and it will not allow us to create a class file, and unchecked exceptions are checked by JVM and it will show only while running the application. I will say some of that, like divide by 0 is also an unchecked exception, divide by 0. Now I will just make one change. Okay, here I will just remove static, not static. I will just add here like int, simply add int. Okay, so this is called unchecked exception. Okay, it will be checked by compiler. It will not allow to create, one second, it will not allow us to create even the dot class file. See, it's throwing error, right? Error at the, so you can see here, right? Class file is not yet created. This is our old class file. So I will run again. So it will not create class file. You can see there is no class file. So this kind of errors are called checked exceptions, because it will be checked by compiler and it is not compiled yet. Now I will change it back. I will remove this and I will add a divide by 0. Divide by 0 error is checked by the JVM, so it will allow us to compile the file. And now I will execute the program. Now the code is successfully got compiled. Okay, we can see the main class, that is class file. If I try to run the application, I will get error. That is called main. Now only it will show application stopped, because we have handled the exception here, right? Okay, I will remove the block so that we can see the error. Again, I will compile the program. We didn't get any error. That means that our file passed the compiler check. Now we are running on JVM. Yeah. Use that. Now we can see the exception, arithmetic exception. This is happens at runtime. Okay. This is two types of exceptions we have. Now I will show you some examples of try and catch block and how to handle. Okay. Okay, any doubt in these types of exception? How compiler and JVM works? What is different between exception and error? Why we need exception handling?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Okay, thank you. Okay, can anyone understand this program? Okay, I will explain what is the program.
So opening on Java program, Java
Yeah.
file.
Okay.
So on text file, sir, something.
Okay.
And then we are going to read it. If the number of buffers, I think, length of the document is greater than 0,
That
then
means document
write.
is not empty. Okay. Length is greater than 0 means document is not empty. We have to something inside document, so the while loop will run. You go on your telling correctly only. Okay. Yeah, continue.
Yes, the words are greater than 0, so the document is something what. So then we have to copy the document into another document. Then you have to close both documents. That one is in try block.
Yeah, nice. Super.
So that's it, sir.
Yeah, here we have two files, right? Here I will write something. What's your name?
Suraj.
Okay, Suraj. Sorry, I don't know spelling. What it will do is it will copy your name to here. Okay. So run this program. What it will do is in demo.1 we don't have anything, but in demo file we have some name. It's not yours. Okay. I will run the program. What it says is file copied successfully. Now we can see this name. Okay. This is okay. Here we have to handle the file not found error must. Okay, what if we don't file the file here? So we have to recover from this, right? If we don't, I simply change the file name to 3. We don't have such file. Okay. So we will be getting error. Okay. So I have another program I will show you. Okay, this is the same program. Here you can see there is a file called test.txt, test1.txt, but we don't have such file here. So what we will be getting if we don't have the file?
File not found error.
Yeah, we will be getting an error called file not found error, and we will be the error will be coming here, right? The exception will be coming here. Okay.
Yes.
The exception is coming here. What I am doing is the file is not found, so I am creating two such files and again calling the same method, copy method. The copy method is this method. I am just invoking the same method. If the file is not found, what I am doing is I am handling like create a new such files, again call the same method. Okay. Is it understandable?
Yes, sir. For file not found error, we should give input output exception, sir.
Input?
Output exception, IO exception.
Actually, what is the exact thing is that is a parent class, right? 1 second, I will show you the full diagram. See, a file not found exception is coming under IO exception. So we can give file not exception alone, or we can give IO exception, or simply we can give exception. Anything can handle. It's like parent can handle anything, right? Child cannot handle parent, but parent can handle child.
Yes,
If you can understand it, right? What I'm saying?
yes, sir.
I 1 second, I will show. This is like a parent. The parent will protect everything, but if this guy stand in front of him, no one will be protected, right? Like that. So we can give the parent exception, no problem, but we should not give the child exception. Child cannot handle parent. So you can see there is no such files called test1. So it going to throw error, but it will not throw error. What it will do is it will just create two files and it will just call the same method again. These are called recursive method. You guys study recursive methods? method calling itself is called a recursive method. Okay, I will run the program. You can see there is no such files, so I'm calling it again. See, entered exception block, so this statement is printed, file copied. What we can do is we can refresh the program and we can see, refresh. See, two files is created. In file 1 we have typed Java files. You can see this is what I typed in the first, that is copied to the second. Okay, this is how we have to handle in real world. In real world, same scenario happen while developing Android application also. Like that we have to handle the file not found means it will be like taking server from one file. If the file is not found in the server, in catch block we have to give the temporary server, because we don't want our application to crash. Okay, so like that we have to handle, like that how we are doing applications in real world. Okay, any doubts on this, how to, why we are handling exception and kind of exceptions we have like that?
No, sir.
Okay, null pointer exceptions you guys know, right? What is null pointer exception? Okay, null pointer exception is nothing. We don't have anything. Null means nothing, right? We don't have anything, but we are trying to access something. That time, see, here we have null. Null means nothing, but we are trying to access the 0th character of the string s. So we are getting null pointer exception. Because there is no resource here. If I give some resource like that, will give me. If I give this, it will show where it is. It happens. Okay, I will show you next program. Okay, this. Okay, I will run this first. Okay. Yeah. What kind of error this will throw?
Array index out of bound exceptions.
Because we don't have such index, so we are getting that error. Okay. Null pointer. I will try now. I will try it here. Okay, we are not doing anything, so that's it. Now we can see it's printing k, but if we don't have anything but trying to access something means it will throw you error. It's throwing error like null pointer exception because we are trying to access something that is not available. Okay. Then arithmetic exception. This is everyone known to everyone, right? When we divide something by it, it will throw error. You can clearly see divide by 0 exception. Then try catch block. Okay, what is the use of finally block?
Sir, even
So
they try
after doing catch block, final will execute it, sir.
Okay. If try block not executed, will final block will execute?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, 1 second. Okay, I will make some change. Okay. Okay, what will be the output for this program?
Error occurred.
Okay, I will change this one so it will be distinguishable. Okay. 2. Yeah, tell me now.
Error occurred to error occurred final block.
Okay, we'll check. Okay, error occurred 1, error occurred 2. Okay, I will change this little bit. Try, not try. Okay, I will declare a variable int a equal to 0. If a equal to 0, then enter catch. Okay, now what is the output?
No,
No?
Finally output will be no sir.
no output.
Finally,
There is no.
Okay, we are getting right. What are you getting? You can see int to bool. Okay. Int. Okay, we have. Sorry, I forgot to give double equal to. Okay. Okay, what we are getting? Unsolved. Okay, I will check the parenthesis. Since I gave long. Okay, this matches. This matches equal to
the input cache block.
catch block. Fine.
Yes, sir.
Okay. What's the output now? Okay, finally. Okay. Since a equal to 1, it will not enter this complete thing, right? So since a equal to 1, this will also not enter this complete thing. So finally block will be executed only. Yeah. Okay, I will continue. Finally block will be only executed if we have try block. Since we don't have a try block here, because it's not entering try block here, so we are getting error, because finally block must have try block. Now it will work. You can see if once. Let's see. I will write here the scenario. Try, and finally we can use try and catch. You can use try with multiple catch. You can use. Yeah, but you cannot use finally alone. You have to use with the try. If that enters try only, you can use finally. Okay. I will give you another example. 9, 10. Okay, what is the output for this program? Yeah, anyone?
Child, sir.
Child. Okay. Any other output? Anyone? Okay, I will run the program. See, what it's showing. It's throwing error like unreachable catch block of arithmetic exception. One of the important rule in Java is we should always give our child class first, parent class next. I will show you. What it showed means it showed unreachable code, right? This is the clear example. The parent class is blocking, the child classes are unreachable, okay? Because the parent class itself can solve all the problems, the child class won't be getting any chance to solve the problem. So that's why we are getting unreachable code, because this code is not reachable at all, because parent class blocking everything. This is called parent blockage. Now how you can resolve this means you can just give it here. You can give it here, you can run, the program will run. You can run child, because this is called parent class blockage. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we should always give our parent class child class first, then only we have to give parent class. Okay, You guys can know, right? Multiple catch blocks. Have you guys used these things? Using multiple catch, finally, everything?
Yes.
Okay. We are also having a throws, but we don't use throws so much in real world. That means in industry perspective, we don't use throws. Throws means it simply it will delegate the error. It will not consider. It will just throw error as it is. Okay, I will show. These two programs are same programs. Since we have try catch block, we are handling with the we can recover it. But with throws, we cannot recover it. We can simply throw like this error happening like that. We can throw. So throws we don't use much. Okay. And this is what throws is. Then another keyword we have is throw keyword. What we can do is we can throw the exception if that exception is not even happening. See, arithmetic exception, when arithmetic pseudo exception occur means when something is divided by 0 only arithmetic exception should occur. But here I am throwing an arithmetic exception manually. The code is understandable, or can I explain it deep? Okay, what I'm doing is I'm just converting this double variable into string variable. What I'm doing is I'm just getting the count of decimal point. If a decimal point is greater than 2, it will throw an arithmetic exception saying system cannot accept more than 2 decimal point. If the decimal, see now it will throw system cannot accept more than 2 decimal points because we have 3 decimal point here. If I reduce means we can see right system accepted the amount. So we can manually throw the exception. We can throw any exception, not even arithmetic exception. We can simply throw the parent exception also.
What?
Your voice is not clear. Come again.
At s dot split in string variable. What?
Yeah, actually, we are splitting the sentence. Okay, we are splitting the string based on the dot value. We are putting this into okay, I will print it. You can understand. So result is 0. First part of string. I'm just splitting these are the some of the useful methods you will use often in real world. Split, converting into character like that. Okay, just splitting, nothing more than the second part. Splitting and putting into an array because we are getting multiple values, right? What is the error? Second. My screen is visible again, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, we manually throwing now, that's it. Okay, we can see right, first part of string is 110, second part of string is 120. You can see 10.12. If I give this, it will give different. Just we are splitting the string and putting into character. Okay, I will show you again. Select consider I have this one 2 3 4. but double we should not have that, unfortunately. But we can, like that, we can split the string and put into an array. So I'm manually throwing exception because I don't want to accept when someone enters a 3 decimal point. That's why I'm throwing the error manually. Because in previous cases, what we have seen is the system is throwing the error, right? When we try to divide, when we try to access some not even in the present in the value, like array index out of bound, null pointer, like that. So we that and all thrown by system. Also we can throw manually by ourselves. Is that understandable, or can I say in different way?
Understandable, sir.
Understood, right? Okay, thanks. Okay, another, this is one of the most used exception in real world. Okay, we can define our own exception simply, like let's consider this system as a license system. If age is less than 18, I should not give license. If age is greater than 18, I can do that. So what I'm doing is I'm just creating my own exception called minor exception, and I'm throwing that exception. In real world, we are not limited only to the user defined exception. In exception, we have two types: built-in exception and user defined exception. I will show you. See, we can have built-in exception and user-defined exception. Built-in exceptions are like a null pointer exception, array index out of bound, something like that. But when you try to build a massive large-scale application, you have to manually, and based on your business requirement, you have to create your own exceptions. Okay, that's why we have a user-defined exception. For defining user-defined exception, what we have to do is we have to create a class and extend the exception. We can, if we particularly know we are going to get arithmetic exception, we can just extend the arithmetic exception, and we can just, using the throw keyword, we can just throw that. Okay, any doubt on this?
No, sir.
No, right? Okay. That's it about exception concept. Simply, we're handling using multiple things: try, catch, throws, and throwing manual exception. And that's all about this thing. Okay, can I move to collection, or anyone having any doubt on exception? No, right? Okay. Okay, before moving to collection, can anyone tell me what is variable?
No, to store our data space.
Okay, to store our, okay, how to define
Data.
a variable? I want to store my bank balance. How I can store? Not bank balance. Let's take.
Int.
Okay, tell me. Yeah, because for storing large values, we should use double, right? So let's take int. Okay, I'm just storing the roll number. Roll number equal to 12. We are storing this, right? This is how we will use variable. Why we use variable? To store the data, right?
Yes.
Okay. How many people are in the class?
MP3.
Okay. Let's say 50. Okay. So you want to create an application for your class, and you want to store all your colleague names. Means how will you store? Can we do like this? String student one Swati, string student 2, string student 3. Can we do like this?
Yes, sir. Why can't we use arrays, sir?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to convey. So if we use like this, we have to declare like in real world in India we have 150 crore population. We cannot declare 150 crore variables, right? That's why we want to what do you say? We want an element or bucket that stores multiple values, okay, with single reference. Okay, this is the need for array. In array, what you can do, in array you no need to do this, just declare an array string names equal to new string. You can mention this, okay, mention. This is how you can create an array, okay. Okay, so we got array. Okay, what is the disadvantage of array? I have program. Okay, what is the, okay, anyone explain this program? Can
So
I,
getting the names
yeah,
and storing it in names array.
okay.
So if the name is stopped, so then we have to stop the array. Sir.
We have to stop the program until user enter stops, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Until you say stop, entry stop.
Okay, let we be the user. I'm running. Okay, now I am entering. Fine. Okay, I'm entering. The application crashes. Why?
So because the string length is only one, so we have to enter only one.
Because our array size is 1. Array size is 1, so we can store only one object we can store inside. Okay, that's why we are getting. Okay, let we declare it at 1000. Now I'm entering something A B C C D F F stop. The application is stopped, but there are a lot of space got wasted, right? So what is the problem with arrays? We have to give the size. We have to give the size. Give the size. Also, we can access the elements inside the array. We have to give the size. Also, you guys know, right? We can access the element inside array using index 0, 1 like that. So this is how array is stored 0, 1, 2, 3. Actually, the thing why we are not able to, why we have to give array size is array allocates a continuous memory location in RAM. That's why we have to give the array size. That's why we are not able to dynamically give the array size. So the problem with arrays is we have to give the size period. Okay. Okay. Okay, now I will tell you. Okay, there are a lot of concepts in arrays, or no, sorry, not arrays, in collections, but I will tell you 3 concepts which is most important. Based on the concepts only all the things are happening. There are only 3 concepts which is most important. Based on that only all the things are working. The first thing is array or array list. You can say this is works based on the index value. Index value we can access the element, because we can only access the object by index value if it is stored in continuous memory. Okay, index value stored in continuous memory. Forgive me for spelling. Okay, then we have a linked list. Okay, linked list or as set is also implemented using linked list in Java. So these are all not stored in continuous memory, so we cannot access this using index. And another most important thing is we have hashing not stored continuously, very complicated. A lot of research is going on this. Okay, very complicated, very fast, and memory efficient. Okay, anybody aware of these terms? These terms will come under data structures and algorithm. Did you guys aware of time complexity, space complexity?
No, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay, what is time complexity, what is space complexity?
The time complexity is how much time taken by the code to execute, sir. The space complexity is how much memory it's consumed to run the code.
Yeah, okay. I will try to zoom this because this single image we can conclude all our application development. We can conclude in the single image. Do you guys know O of 1, big O of 1, logarithm, O of n, like that?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, okay. Why linked list takes O of n for insertion and deletion? You can see the image again. Okay, I will try to zoom. Yeah. Okay, I will tell you, for array, for accessing element, the time complexity is order of 1, because with a single computation we can take the element. If we want to take 90, we can simply give like a of 5 means 90 will come. But for linked list, we don't have anything like index, right? So we cannot access elements directly. If we want to, actually I will explain. This is memory address 3200, and this is one variable 15. It is stored in 3200, and the next variable 3 you can see here. This is through 3200. We have 3200. Here we have 3600. Here we have 3600. How it stores is, it will just like a train. It will just store the next variable memory allocation. So if we want to, what we have is, we simply have this 3200. So if we want to access 17, what we have to do is we have to come line by line, then only we can reach 17. But in arrays, if we want to access 90, we can simply give f5, it will give 90. But in linked list, we have to iterate through all the elements to get the 17. That's why arrays are fast, linked list are not fast. These are a very wide concept like asymptotic notation. I will suggest you some book. Okay, CLRS. This is Bible of data structures and algorithm. So if you guys have time, you can read this book. Okay, everything is mentioned in this book. If you want to get job in Facebook, Google, what we are doing is we just have to read this book. This is enough. You can get. Also, there is a website I will suggest you, Lead Code. Anyone aware of this Lead Code? Problems, just go type lead code problems, solve all the problems. You can get offers in companies like this: Amazon, Google, Facebook, Microsoft, Apple. So all companies will select candidates from here only. First complete this book, then go to here and solve the problem. Okay, if you have any doubt on this, just call me. I will help you out to solve these problems. Okay, now I will back to this topic. Okay, these are wide concept, I'm just explaining for namesake. Okay, so these are the array list. This type, based on time complexity, we are separating. First I will explain you. Okay, any doubts or anything you need to ask?
students, if you have any sort of queries, you can ask him. He's ready to answer.
Yeah. Okay, I will take silence as no. Okay, now what the problem we are facing in arrays is we have to give the array size. So in Java they have implemented the linked list concept in array list with some features of array. So you can see now same program, but I'm using array list. So we don't need to give the size of the array. So I'm simply running the program. I can type how many values I want, because I no need to mention, so it will stop. Okay, another thing is I told you, right, arrays work based on index. So if I click names dot get, see it allows me to select by index. Okay, now I will go to linked list. You can see I will not be getting a method called get. This is a list. You can see I'm able to see a method called get, but in hash set, okay, in hash set also implemented as a linked list. I'm typing sh dot get. I couldn't find any method because it is not implemented that way. If we have index only, we can access it. Otherwise, we have to iterate and we have to find the value. This is how we have to get the value. We have to check each value, then go line by line, then we have to print the value. Another important difference between a list and set, list versus set, is a list can store duplicate values also. In your class, you can have two persons called Karthik, but when you are writing some grocery shop list, you don't mention rice 2 times, you will rice only 1 time, right? So if you want to use those things based on your usage, you can store duplicate values. Set, we cannot add duplicate values. Duplicate values. Okay, see here, this is set. I'm adding multiple duplicates value. I will print, see I'm printing the hash set here. What we can see is, we can see only once Swati, only once Karthik. We don't see any other value, because even if we add duplicate values to set, it will not allow us to add. See here, I have used array list. I'm adding same program, multiple Karthik, multiple Swati. If I try to print now, it will print all the things. Okay. So based on your application usage, you have to select between hash set and set and list. Another most important thing is hash map. Okay, hash map is something like that. You can store in either ways. You don't want to store based on your index or based on the memory location. You want to store it by yourself. Let's take example of our contact list. We are just typing name, we are getting number, right? So for those kind of usage, we have to use hash map. Here the key itself is this is key. Hash map. Okay, hash map. This is key. This is value. So if I want to access any value, I have to use these keys. I will not be using anything other than this. So you can see I'm accessing Karthik. It will print me. Okay, I will stop this. You can see here I'm just accessing Karthik. It will display the mobile number. You can see the number is printed like this. You have to use. It's based on our usage. Also in real world, you have to think through these things, whether you want your application to be fast or you want to the space efficient. So nowadays memory is cheap, so people will concentrate only on this time, how fast my application will work. So you have to concentrate on this. I will show you one sample example where we can use collections. Activity name list. Name list. Okay. So here you can see, right, I'm declaring a string with only 2 values. I can now size is only 2. Size is 2. Okay, this is AshNap implementation. Okay, here you can see clearly that my array size is only 2. Okay, here I can add the names. I'm simply adding Karthik. Add, and I'm clicking Swati. Add. Array size is 2. Now I'm giving display name list. It will display the name. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add 3 values. But array size is only 2 now. Now array size is only 2. I'm going to add 3 values. I'm just adding ABC, ASD, AGST. If I give display name, it giving display on second.
0, 1. Use both.
Sorry? No. Okay. I used the array list implementation, that's why. Here I have to uncomment array implementation. Yesterday I wrote the code and tested sometimes, that's it. Now I will run. Actually, don't learn the program language alone, learn with some framework, then only you can get the crisp, okay, we are doing something. Otherwise you will be simply like printing some statement, just to keep on printing using asset like that. So if you use something like that, if you are learning JavaScript, you can use React.js, something like that. Java means Android, you can use Spring Boot and all outdated, but still you can try. Okay, now array list implementation, only I can add 2 values. Since array size is 2, I added 1, I added another one, I'm trying to add third one. You can see the application restarts. Also here in logcat you can see some error is happened. Okay, this is problem with array means you have to give size, so you cannot use that in real world. Now I will show you array list. This is array list implementation. Here you can see I have created an array list string SL. Okay, there's finder. You can see I'm adding ABC, 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 ABST. The application not yet crashed or restarted. If I give display name, it will display everything. Okay, now I will show the same implementation using add set, because in set we cannot store duplicate values, right? So I will show you that, then you can get where we can use which. Last time I used duplicate values, it displayed. Now I'm going to use duplicate values, it will not display, because we are using add set implementation. Add set will not allow duplicate things to be entered. You can see I'm adding ABC, add ABC, add BCD, add BCD, add display. It will only show 2 because it removed the duplicate values. Okay, this is how we have to use list and set. I will show you example of hash map also. Any doubts on this? Because I'm keep on telling, right? Okay, context. No, right? Okay, thank you. So here I have used in this this is conduct map. Okay, what I'm doing is whenever I click the add conduct button, it will add those elements to my. Have you guys used hash map? How to add values inside hash map?
No, sir.
No, right. This is how you have to add. You cannot add. You have to put, because both key you have to give, both value you have to give. Those things you have to give. So this is the value. I will show you. This is how I'm creating hash map. I have created a hash map. I'm just adding two values. One value is from this name. Another value is from phone number. Okay. One day I will teach Android Studio. So you can just understand this line. I'm adding the value. Here you can see whenever I plus the search, it will display the value. I will run. Okay. See it asking for. Okay, I didn't change the context. Manifest name list is still there. Contact list. Contact book. Some error is happening here. Okay, this is application. I'm just adding Karthik. Okay, add ABC. Phone number as 1234. It will add those two pair of values in hash map. Again, I'm adding RE red and 234. It will add. When I try to search red means. Okay, I will see. Red means you can see here one pop-up will come. You can see the phone number. Okay, this is how our conduct book is actually implemented. So based on our usage, we have to use the data structure we want. Actually, Java implemented all things like you can just
So you have been muted, sir.
sorry, when I stopped it. Okay, have I explained the application or before itself I muted myself?
No, sir. Now only you are muted, sir.
Okay, thanks. Okay, so in real world we have to choose your data structure based on your usage. Also, you should not simply use Java. Okay, in Java you can simply, if you want to use a linked list, you can simply call this, but you don't get the sense of how much time it gets, how much space complexity it's getting. so you don't understand things. What you can do is first you can understand things, then you can use the implementation. I will show you the implementation. LinkedIn implementation. Python. It has been long days I used to Java. Okay, Python. Okay. So this is how you have to use your second linked list. Type a linked list. See, this is how you have to declare. You have to write your own code. This and all own code written by them. So you have to understand how much time it takes to retrieve, how much time it takes to search, what is the difference between single linked list, double linked list. For exam purpose, you can study Java and those things. To become a good software engineer, you should understand all the things, and this one page is enough to conclude you as a software engineer. So if you understand everything in this, you can implement anything, you can become a good software engineer, because these things where we will use to solve in real world problem. Okay. Yeah, sir, that's it from my side. I'm out of time already. Hello, have I muted again?
No, sir.
Sir,
Yeah, Suraj.
so I have one common question, sir. Can I ask?
Yeah, you can.
So if I got placed in one big company like Accenture or Infosys as a trainee, and the same way I got a placement of opportunity in small startups, sir. In which company I get better training and better experience, sir?
Yeah, actually, what I suggest is don't join companies like Cognizant, Accenture, Infosys like that. If you want, you can join some innovative startup companies. You should not simply join some small companies. There are some startup companies, innovative startup companies are there. You can start your career like that, or you can start like Microsoft, Google, like that. You can start your career. Okay, I will share my screen again. I will show you this website. You know why IIT people are getting into Adobe, and people like us, third tier college, not getting into things like that, because we are not told to practice this. Even when I'm studying, one guy told me to study Java. He didn't told me to do these things. Okay, just yeah, this is what they will ask. So this will not come in one day. You should practice it every day. If you practice this every day, initially it will be hard. Later on, keep on going, you can solve any problems. You can just go Amazon, you can solve all the problems. You know fan companies? Fan companies, you can search. Okay, this is fan. Facebook, Amazon, Apple, Netflix, these are fan companies. You can either start innovative startup, or you can start your career in fan companies. Don't go interpretive like Cognizant, Infosys. Because if you go Cognizant and Infosys, what they mainly do is they will mainly do testing. So simply, you know lot of coding language, but you will keep on doing testing. You will waste your engineering skills. Actually, totally, I have 2.5 years experience. Initially, I worked in Cognizant. Initially, I worked as a automation test engineer. Then they moved to development. Then they moved to manual testing. So I just changed to this company like a machine learning role. So you have to choose your role based on your interest. If you are too much interested in mathematics, you can choose your career as a machine learning scientist. What machine learning will do is simply use probability, linear algebra, like that. So, but this is mandatory for anything. Better you are in second year, right? You have a lot of time. Daily, if you practice 1 hour while completing college, you can solve any problem here. So, better go with FANG or just go with innovative startup. But if you don't have anything, just you can go Accenture, Cognizant, like that. But if you want to become a good software engineer, daily you want to enjoy your job without pressure, you can just go FANG or innovative. In service-based company, they will put you a lot of pressure. They just want to get profit. So they will not make us good software engineers. Okay. You have a lot of time now,
Yeah,
so you
sure,
can
sir.
just practice. Anyone have any other doubt?
Damodaran, please share your mail ID with them so that if they have any queries, they can contact you directly.
Okay.
Mail ID alone.
Okay. Yeah.
See, students, that is what our expert says. Please practice daily. Okay, it is not the thing which you can do it overnight and then next day you come for an interview and then you will get selected. So it's a continuous process. Okay, so daily you have to practice and then that will really help you to achieve your destination.
Also, if you want to learn programming language, if you are not able to solve problem, don't learn the programming language alone. Okay, study. If you want to study Java, do it with Android. If you want to study C Sharp, do it with Windows application. If you want to develop a web application, then learn JavaScript. Okay, don't study the plain programming language. Okay, plain programming language will not make you sense of what you are going to do in industry.
Students, can you see the mail ID which is shared by our guest?
Yes, sir.
Can you see the mail ID there?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
okay. Please note down the
Yes.
mail ID.
But develop your communication, because whatever knowledge you know, you have to communicate it well, right? So develop your communication. Okay, because lot of people struggle there. They know lot of things, but because of communication they will be rejected. Easily you can get job in Accenture, Cognizant. If you have a good spoken English, you can easily get selected into Cognizant, Accenture, like that companies. Simply you have to see some aptitude. They will ask you nothing about programming. They simply ask you some for loop, while loop. Okay. There are a lot of innovative companies starting in Bangalore. Lot of big giants investing there. You can just email me whatever doubt you want. I will clarify it.
Sir, sir, can you hear me, sir?
Yeah, I'm able to hear you.
The screen is not visible to me, sir. Can you say your mail ID in words, sir?
Okay, dsundrarajan@gmail.com. Actually, I bring you in chat box.
Oh, okay, sir. Thank you.
Samodran, there are two mail IDs, right? Both are same with different domains. Gmail and
No,
Outlook.
there will be M for Gmail. For it will be not M.
Okay. So both are different mail IDs.
Both are different mail
You are
IDs.
reachable in any one. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, students, I think there is no doubt. Thank you once again, our guest, Mr. Damodaran, for spending your valuable time, and then you gave a lot of information to our students, and hope it will be very useful for you as well, students. And then, if you have any doubts in future, you can definitely mail him. He's ready to answer your mail. So give him some time. Definitely, he will answer you. And then that's all for today. And we'll get back to you with another beautiful guest lecture on Java with different concepts on Tuesday. Okay. Thank you, Damodaran, for your time.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Okay. Satya, ma'am,
Yeah.
are you there?
Sir?
Okay, ma'am. Shall we wind up the session, ma'am?
Okay, yes, sir.
Okay. Damodaran, is there anything that you need to tell?
One second, I will send the lead code link, because students might forget that, right? There's another concept also, CodeChef. But don't follow CodeChef, because user interface is not good. Just follow lead code. That's it, sir, from my side.
Okay. Thank you, students. You have these informations in the chat box, like guest mail ID for the queries, and then there is a link to practice the codes. Okay. Thank you very much, everyone, and thank you, Damodaran as well. Thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you, sir. Thank you, students.
Thank you all.
Yeah, bye.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Satish sir,
ma'am, சொல்லுங்க.
அவர் மெஷின் லேர்னிங்ல ஒர்க் பண்ணிட்டு இருக்காரு இப்போ.